हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू टेक करियर 2.0, जहाँ पे हम लोग बात करते हैं करियर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन की एंड हाउ यू कैन विद मिनिमम एफर्ट ट्रांसफॉर्म योर करियर. So Ankit, please introduce our guest today.
Thanks, Mohit. Hello, Kanika.
Hi Ankit, hi
Hello,
Mohit.
hello.
Hi.
Hi, Kanika. Welcome. First of all, it's an honor to have you on as our guest today. And Mohit, interestingly, this week the world and industry is celebrating the Women's Day, International Women's Day, and now we have privilege of having Kanika on our show, who is actually our first female guest.
Welcome, Kanika. It's nice to have you
Thank
on
you.
our
It's my
show.
pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good
So,
coincidence. We haven't
Yeah,
worked
yeah.
with
it's a yeah,
females
yeah.
till
So,
now.
So, Kanika, can you please tell our viewers about your current role, how you landed into that position, and what were the key factors that helped you actually to secure that role?
It's a big journey. I would say 15 years journey, and you want me to answer it in just few words. I am currently as a security and compliance consulting specialist from Microsoft for Australian customers. Now, how I get this opportunity is a difficult one because it was definitely a lot of steps taken. It wasn't a calculative decision. It was just logical pathways which came across throughout the career. So I'm a telecom engineer myself. So I have started my career with a telecom company of Nokia, Ericsson, and within like working duration of those companies, I realized and try to see what is the next technology step, what company is working on, and start taking your extra efforts in that direction so that you create your own importance within the company. So from Nokia, we started a 3G network, but then at that point of time when everyone is talking about 3G, 4G was launched. So be ready for whatever new things are coming, and have a growth mindset and start learning beforehand so that everyone is on the same page. So start creating your value by learning advanced technology. So I started learning 4G. Then I switched the company so that I can have a technical experience, because when you are a college pass out and when you get a good job, then you lack a technical experience of a hands-on because you might be in a different role. And I think there should always be a practical and technical combination which makes you good or suitable candidate at many places. So while I started with Nokia, it was a consulting experiences, and then I realized after 3 4 years that this is somewhere I'm lacking. I do not have a hands-on experience as such. And then I started looking for jobs outside, which maybe not giving me a good package, but will give me an opportunity to learn something hands-on experience. So grabbing the opportunities and going through with the flow of the technology advancement is very critical, which I felt for my career pathway. So when I was at Ericsson, then I started thinking, what next? So the telecom industry was actually doing a huge transformation, within themselves. So they are adopting cloud. So virtualization came into the picture, and then a job opportunity from Nokia came again, but this was for a different role. It's all about cloud virtualization consulting. I immediately grabbed that opportunity because there was a huge learning path in ahead of me. Raise your hand whenever there is a good opportunity within the company itself. I'm not saying that just go out and find an opportunity, but what has worked well with me is like be something extra and start raising your hand that this is what I want to do, and some new projects will come in and your manager will keep on asking you, hey, this is something new, do you want to be part of it? So amongst all, somebody do not want to take extra efforts, but sometimes you are taking that extra efforts will make you knowledgeable for certain things. So from there cloud came in, then IoT was at boom at that point of time. So I raised my hand, I said I want to be part of that IoT thing. Then security was a part of it. So I would say within a Nokia cloud, IoT and security became my career transformation path. So, and then the PR happened. I actually applied for the PR. Me and my husband, we jointly decide, okay, let's go for it. It was my husband's decision basically, but I said, yes, it's a good opportunity. So we came in here. Now what? And before you are taking such a leap in your career that, okay, I have to find a new job in there, I started thinking about what could work well there. Maybe a public cloud, because we are talking about virtualization within telecom industry. It was a private cloud sector. So start working on the public cloud. So I did some courses around it, and then I got a job at Telstra, which is all about cloud, IoT, and security. So it's not a huge change, but it was drastic. sector change,
Yeah.
but it's a logical approach. And then finally at the Microsoft. But over the period of time, I've learned a lot of certifications to gain some theoretical knowledge around it.
So, Kanika, like in recent time, we have seen a surge in data breaches, especially in Australia. And what I have seen, there's a lot of change in the responsibility in the cybersecurity roles. Has that put any impact on your role and the responsibilities which you have been playing in past couple of years?
Um, Well, post-COVID, security, data transformation has become such a big thing for everyone. Because when the COVID hit, people just started, blindly just putting things in cloud or doing the digital transformation so that they can give remote capabilities, working capabilities to their employees. And security at that point of time was took a back seat because it was just the first thing approach. Start let people work howsoever they can do, and that was the advantage which a lot of attackers started taking in, because they know there is vulnerability in the environment or the architect here or architecture, whatever customers have finalized for their organization. So then that's why we are hearing lot of surge in the attacks. But we were being constantly talking to the customer because I'm in a consulting role. I have a handful of customers with whom I talk about the security. Security was not a big priority for a lot of organizations because it's not a tangible thing wherein you can spend money and you will realize, oh, I've got something. No, it's something like an insurance. You're just paying for it, but you will not realize the potential of it unless and until you have that sense of good sleep because I'm not getting breached and all. So it was always a difficult conversation for us to have with the customers that you should spend money in there. With these surges, what I've observed, the conversations have become good now. I mean, nobody wants to be in a situation where they are the next customer who are being breached, sort of. Um, so it has put a lot of things onto us as a consultant because coming from a different background, Ankit, we are from India. So the framework, the regulations are different, whatever we have learned over the way. But here, when you are talking to the customers, you are specifically talking about the Australian standards. So it's not like that I know everything. But when I'm talking to the customers, keeping on exactly, the note of whatever frameworks they are talking about, you know about the big ones, Essential 8, ISM, PSPF, and VPDSS. But there are other companies, if they are in the financial, APRA is there, or if they are in manufacturing, SOCE is there. So different in industry sector have different frameworks. And I wasn't like fully across it. But then if I'm a consultant, it's my responsibility to be across it and start finding a way how you can learn over this. So I enrolled myself in a different course, which is definitely taking out a time from my personal time, but I have to learn this thing. So what are the different frameworks? What are the liabilities of the directors of the company if something is breached? So that sort of conversation, because I'm having that conversation with the customers, I have to have that knowledge to talk to them that this is what could impact. So these breaches have affected me in the sense I have to learn more of all these legal things which C-level people need to have. But it has made a task easier also because now customers are willing to have that discussion. Let's talk about security. I have seen a drift and a shift within this sector a lot.
Yeah, and also like rather than spending hundreds of millions dollar as a compensation, why not spend a
Yeah,
couple of $1 million in implementing
yeah,
those control itself in
yeah.
the first place, investing in that. So, Kanika, opinion in security industry is that it's quite divided. That some argue that most of the security controls are reactive and they are just there for the compliance and regulatory purposes, but they will not actually help the company to protect itself from the breaches or for any cyber threat. So, what is your opinion about this issue? Is it like most of them are reactive, and or is it the reality is different?
I would kind of agree with your statement because we organizations are actually changing the thought process around the solutions or where to invest because 5 years before, we used to have that network perimeter security, and it was working really well. Like if you are within that office premises, and that was a reactive one, you are just taking a control on the firewalls or those things, so you're pretty secure. Now, but it has drastically changed everything. Even nobody was so, they did not know how to react to it. So I agree that these legacy tools were reactive in approach, which was working well, but now it is not working well. So if you look at the vendor side or the product side also, they have launched some advanced plans on their existing solution that this is now let's buy this one. You already have a reactive one because now it's so hard. If you are breached or if you are attacked, you really can't control the things, so you start having a proactive thing. So you should have a detection capabilities, responding capabilities before the attack could happen. You could sense if there is something wrong happening within the organization. And that's the angle which a lot of vendors are taking now. And in fact, the customers also want it because they know if something is gone wrong, and the attackers will sit within the company's environment for 1 month, 9 months, 12 months, and so on. You will not realize that they are sitting in there. So if you are in a reactive approach, you will never be able to detect things. So proactivity, detection, respond has become a part of the conversations. Big departments who have money, they are ready to adopt it, but not everyone is yet ready to adopt it, right? So it's all about the conversation about of that two things, very balancing one, security and compliance. So the board people really want no legal obligations on me if something goes wrong. So one person is taking care of checking the box of the compliance thing so that it's not actually impacting you. From security perspective, we know if something's gone wrong, you will be hit badly, right? But you have to think about the processes which can reduce the blast radius. Do you have the incidents response plan ready for your organization? So these are the things which you security people can do. Nobody can control things, if somebody enters, third party contractor comes into the organization and he starts doing something, you can go, something could go wrong. But think about that way, how can you minimize the attack area? Do you have good tools which can see the suspicious behavior of anything? So start adopting those basic advanced protection tools which has the capability of detection and responding, but side by side you're checking box on the compliance stuff so that you are not paying millions in as a ransomware or maybe as a fine sort of things to the other people. So that is a perfect balance which a lot of companies are not now talking about security and compliance together.
One thing I would like to add here is that what personally I've seen is uh, since the COVID, right, and cybersecurity role being identified because the threat landscape has changed, right, and the regular engineers working on don't have that kind of end-to-end visibility.
Yeah.
Right. So what has happened? There's been industry has now a lot of cybersecurity roles, but what I think is that in long term, probably there would be a need for doing a shift left, right? That the
Yeah.
people who are actually working on the ground, right, like whether it's physical security, whether it's related to code security, whether it's related to architecture, design. So the people
Yeah.
actually who are actually doing that would have to take the responsibility of ensuring the security in their day-to-day work, which right now I see that there's a lack of.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, but there is a shift, right, to DevSecOps. People are shifting the, as you say, right, responsibility towards developers. Like, so there's a
Set your
slight
basics
change
right.
in industry, but I think we have long way to go, right?
One more thing which has become a priority for the companies, no matter what good tools you have, people are the most vulnerable
Weakest
side
link.
of any
Yeah.
organization, anywhere.
Anywhere.
Be it physical security, employees who are working within your companies, be the third party people who are managing your environment or anyone else. So now they have taking it very seriously about people training because they are the first line of defense. Start giving them attack simulation training, run so many of those drill training so that people are aware not to click on that phishing email, not to do certain things. Even you are a security people, I am a security person, the attacks are so sophisticated that you will fall into the trap of it. It is just like your employee or your manager is sending an email, this is your review time, fill
Yeah,
this
phishing
thing, click
emails,
on a link and you will click it. So it's all about people defense also, and people ask companies have started spending money on that too.
So Kanika, in security field, what I think is kind of a very good balance, like in gender balance. Was that a factor when you decided to move towards cybersecurity?
So it was like one or two females within a team of 12 or 15 boys. So, and then, but yeah, I mean, over the period of time, now I'm in the company which has adopted diversity at the root level, you know. It's like equal people, equal men and women in my team currently. It's so many opportunities have been given to anyone based on their intelligence and their merit score, not of the gender, especially in Microsoft. So I think people are working at the root level now, finally, that they want a balance. And I think any of the team works really well when there is a diversity there, right? Um, Women might be really good in certain things. I'm not talking about the intelligence. Intelligence could be equal. Whatever you all learn, I can learn the same thing. But there are some fundamental DNA sort of things within the women and men who have a different capabilities. We are very good at, event management sort of things, how to handle that from the customer. So there is always a warmth in the conversation, there's always some sort of thing. So when these two characters, men and women, come in within a team, they can make wonders together. So that's what people have realized, the potential of bringing the diversity in the team, and that's what I've been observing. Now I'm finally, I would say, we are progressing good in that
Yeah, just to add,
time.
we usually confuse equality and equity, right? So what I think Kanika would agree is it's more about equity. Everyone has different capability and they would require different sort
Yeah.
of, I would say, opportunities, right? So we should be much more aware about equity, right? And
Yes,
everyone
exactly.
has a different capability. And I agree, a diverse team has a very, I would say, broad capabilities than would say, a, a team which has only certain type of people, right?
Yeah, diversity in any like
And
age,
Yeah.
background,
background,
different
anything,
culture,
yeah.
different gender. It's really good to have a balance of.
Now I'm seeing a lot of C-level people, women are, I'm talking to women now. Yes, I would say still 80% are men there and hardly any women, but I think it will take time. But people have started taking good steps in that direction.
Yeah, it's like you have a situation and these two react in a different way in the
Different way.
same
Exactly.
situation. So
Yeah.
if they come together, and as you said, they can make wonders.
Yeah, and the
Wonders.
brainstorming is much more effective, right? When
Yeah.
you have solving any problem, any challenges, the brainstorming is much more effective because we have
Yeah.
diverse views, right? So
Yeah.
that's always effective. So Kanika, just coming back to your that point in your career where you said that you were doing training delivery. So how impactful was that in your career? What recommendation would you give to aspirants who either want to transform their career or who are new to the IT career?
As I said, well, training was my inner choice because I used to take tuitions when I was doing 10th, 12th and all. So the training was inherited sort of within me. So the training was a natural pathway. But what recommendation I could give to others? Well, I can't give the recommendation, but what I've observed from my experience is that when you train people, you relearn things, relearning your fundamental thing, because you are preparing yourself for any sort of question. So you start working on that. Whenever you're going to do the training, you will study more. You will study the basic things also again, because you would be afraid of that, what if the person asks me this question. So it helps you in preparing better and revalidating your concepts. So that is one thing. So you are relearning things and you are making it more stronger in the concepts and all. Second thing is you are creating your own brand amongst a lot of people. People will start valuing you. You are doing something extra as a part of your jobs and responsibility. And I've, to be very honest, Mohit and Ankit, I've felt this within 15 years span of my time, that do not restrict yourself with the jobs and responsibilities you are meant to do within organization. If you want to grow, you have to take something extra steps to learn things, in whether in the shadow mode or whether by delivering something else. So take an opportunity there. So it is all about creating that brand, which I learned from one of my managers, that if you want to grow in any company, start creating your brand. Now how you can create your brand is within your choice. So if I will find out my strength, and my strength was delivering training, with that training I can create my brand, and I will start delivering trainings networking. It helps in networking because you do not know what level of person you are meeting in the training. So you are networking with them. They will help you grow. They will help you meet other people also. So ultimately, you are making a value of yours within the organization. So it really helped me. Third part is it makes you more confident.
And you talked about one thing, right? Imposter syndrome, I think, which is very common in, I would say, technical guys,
Everywhere.
Yeah. So I think we learn and we always, think that we are not at par, we are missing something, we are lacking something. And I believe, because I also give some trainings, it helps you to counter that. When you're imparting training, you have that confidence that you can counter that imposter syndrome that we generally
Yeah.
feel in IT, right?
And also, like, even if you study a thing for your own, for yourself, like 10 times, you'll forget it. But if you
Yeah.
learn something
You-
for someone else, that I would like to do a training for that one, I think that thing you'll remember for a way longer time than.
Forever.
Yeah, I think this interview is gonna change a lot of lives,
Yep.
especially a lot of women in the industry.
Yeah.
Even male. I think this is gonna be an inspiration.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us, Kanika. It was great having you on our show.
Thank
No, it's my pleasure. One more point to mark here
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
we leave, before we wrap up this interview. It's a responsibility of men also that you consider that every knowledge, every single thing is for equal sharing. I have learned this from my father, my husband. They do not differentiate anything that this is not for girls or this is not for women. They share everything. They make me learn about concepts, be it a car concept, be a movie concept, be it any concept. So share with your partner, with your sister, with your every women around you with the equal concept that this is what you should know. It should not be this is only for men or it's only for women. No,
Yeah.
knowledge is for everyone. Share it with everyone.
So, all right. Thanks for
Thank you.
joining us. Have a great day. So, guys, this was Kanika on our show on the moment of International Women's Day.